Imagine for a moment that everything you think you know about life is an illusion, a veil over your eyes. You've lived your life believing in the separation between you and the world around you. The people, the events, the things you experience, they've all seemed like separate entities, independent and apart from each other. But what if I told you that this separation is just an illusion, that the boundaries you see are merely constructs of the mind? You see, reality as we perceive it is a mirror of our own thoughts and beliefs. We've created a world in our heads, one that appears to be real but is not the whole picture. When you begin to peel back the layers of this illusion, you begin to see something entirely different, a vast, interconnected web of life, of existence, of energy. You are not an isolated self, standing apart from the rest of the world, but rather a part of a grand, infinite flow. This brings us to the illusion of the ego, the I, that you so closely identify with, is like a mask that you wear. It's a temporary identity, a concept, a story you tell yourself, but beneath it there is no you, only the eternal flow of life. Once you see through this illusion of separation, life takes on a different form. It becomes a dance, a rhythm in which you are not the dancer, but the dance itself. Each step, each movement, flows naturally into the next. You no longer need to force anything, everything happens in perfect harmony, and in this dance the key is presence. You see, the past is gone, and the future is a mere idea. The only moment that truly exists is this one, right here, right now. When you let go of all the distractions of what has been and what might come, you open yourself to the beauty of the present. And it is here, in this present moment, that everything changes. You begin to experience life not as a series of burdens and challenges, but as an unfolding, dynamic expression of life itself. But to see life this way, you must let go of attachment, let go of the need to control, to manipulate, to predict the outcome of every moment. In letting go, you become free. You allow yourself to flow with life, rather than resisting it. And in that flow, you begin to realize that life is not a struggle. It is a play. A cosmic game in which we are all participants, each playing our part, each bringing our unique energy to the unfolding drama. And through it all, there is an underlying unity, a force that binds us all together. You are not separate from the world. You are the world, experiencing itself through you. The beauty of life is that it is not what it appears to be on the surface. It is far more mysterious, far more profound. Once you begin to see this, you will never look at life the same way again. So I ask you, what would it be like to live without the weight of separation, to live with the awareness that you are part of the great cosmic dance? When you see life this way, it is no longer something to be feared, controlled, or fought against. It becomes something to be embraced, celebrated, and experienced in its fullest expression. And that, my friends, is the gift of seeing life as it truly is, an endless flow, a timeless dance, a beautiful expression of the universe itself. Once you see this, you will never see life the same again. Most people wander through life under a most peculiar delusion, that they are separate from the world around them, that you, as an individual, are a solitary entity contained in a bag of skin, standing apart from the trees, the clouds, the oceans, the stars. And because of this illusion, you spend your life defending this idea of me, of mine, constructing barriers between yourself and what you believe to be the other. But consider this. Have you ever seen a wave that is independent of the ocean? Or a leaf that exists apart from the tree? In the same way, you are not some lonely observer in a universe of things. You are the universe, looking at itself through human eyes. The illusion of separation is so deeply ingrained in our language, our culture, our schooling, that it feels almost absurd to question it. Yet, if you look just a little closer, just a touch beyond appearances, you begin to see that the idea of separation is nothing more than a convenient fiction. You think of yourself as in the world, but you are not in it. You grow out of it. Just as apples grow from apple trees and rivers flow from mountains, so too does consciousness arise from the whole of existence. There is no you without everything else. Your thoughts, your feelings, even your sense of self, all of it arises in relationship. You cannot have up without down, self without other, front without back. These things exist together, they define one another, they are not separate. Now, this illusion of separation creates conflict. It breeds fear, competition, loneliness, and violence. Because if I am over here, and you are over there, and we are fundamentally unconnected, then why should I care about you? Why should I care about the forests, the oceans, the creatures who share this earth with me? The illusion gives rise to a desperate kind of clinging, to wealth, to identity, to power, because we fear being swallowed by the great unknown that surrounds us. But in truth, there is no surrounding. You are not surrounded by life, you are life. And when you begin to see through the illusion, something extraordinary happens. You stop feeling like a stranger here. You begin to feel at home in the cosmos. You laugh, perhaps even cry, because you realize that you've never been alone. Not even for a moment. It is the game of the universe to pretend, for a time, that it is many things. It puts on masks, myriad forms and personalities, each believing itself to be separate, distinct, but it's all one. One great movement, one flowing dance of being. You are not a drop of water isolated from the sea. You are the sea in a drop. You are the momentary face of eternity. To see this is not an idea, not a philosophy, not a belief. It is a felt realization. It comes in the stillness of the mind, in the quiet space between thoughts. It's that peculiar feeling you sometimes get when you lose your sense of self entirely, watching a sunset, hearing a piece of music, looking into a loved one's eyes. In those moments the illusion fades, and what remains is pure presence, wholeness, unity. But of course we must return to the play. The universe enjoys forgetting itself. It enjoys the drama, the conflict, the surprise of pretending it's not one. And that's all right. There's no need to escape the illusion, only to see it. And once you see it, you can never truly be fooled again. The illusion of separation is just that, an illusion, and life, when seen clearly, is not a war between parts, but a symphony of unity. You are not apart from the whole. You are the whole appearing as a part. So breathe deeply, listen closely, dance freely, because in the end you are not a separate being looking at the universe. You are the universe, delighting in the experience of being you. What do we really mean when we speak of reality? Most people believe that reality is made of solid objects, measurable events, clear boundaries. They believe that what is real is what can be seen, touched, catalogued, or confirmed by others. But this view is far too narrow. For if you really pay attention, if you begin to question not just what you see, but how you see, you'll come to realize something extraordinary. That what we call reality is not something that exists out there independently. It is a dance between what is seen and the one who sees. You see, we've been taught to view the universe as a collection of dead matter governed by mechanical laws, like a great machine grinding forward through time. But this idea is itself an invention. It's a model, a map, not the territory. The actual territory, the thing we are truly immersed in, is far more mysterious. Reality, in its essence, cannot be captured in words or formulas. It moves, it breathes, it dances, and it includes you. You are not some external observer sitting outside the show. You are part of the performance. In fact, you are inseparable from it. There is no objective world that stands apart from your mind. What you see, hear, and feel is shaped by your own consciousness, your own perceptions. Color does not exist without an eye to see it. Sound does not exist without an ear to hear it. So in this way, reality is not just what's out there, it's also what's in here. Now, this is not to say that everything is merely a dream. No, not quite. It's to say that the dreamer and the dream are one and the same, that what we call the world is like a great mirror, reflecting our inner states. Look at a field of wildflowers, or listen to the birds in the early morning. Are they not speaking something wordless to you, some deep language beyond logic, whispering that you belong, that this is all yours, not in possession, but in participation? We suffer because we think reality is supposed to be a fixed thing, predictable, knowable, secure. But true reality is ever changing, it is alive, it is play, and like play, it does not cling to purpose. It flows without forcing, it changes shape without resistance. So many of us seek permanence, something to hold on to, a final answer, a point of arrival. But the nature of reality is not a destination. It is a process, a flow, a movement with no beginning and no end. And here lies the great cosmic joke, that we search for truth as if it were something hidden. We imagine reality as something to be grasped, controlled, explained. But the more you try to grasp it, the more it slips through your fingers, like trying to clutch water in your hands. Reality is not something to be understood in the traditional sense. It is something to be experienced, something to be felt deeply and directly. To know reality, you must stop trying to cage it. Let go of the need to name, to judge, to divide. Just be. Rest in the awareness that you are not separate from life, but are life itself. When the mind quiets and the constant commentary fades, what remains is the raw presence of being, vast, wordless, radiant. That, my friend, is reality. It does not lie in textbooks or doctrines, but in the wind on your face, the rhythm of your breath, the stillness between thoughts. It is what's happening right now, not what you think about what's happening, but what is. And in that moment of recognition, you are no longer a spectator of the universe. You are the universe, aware of itself. So don't just look at life, fly of it. Don't just analyze the world, be it. For the nature of reality is not found in seeking, but in seeing. And once you truly see, you'll realize that you were never apart from it, not for a single moment. There is a peculiar thing about the ego, something so subtle and insidious that it can be hard to recognize. It is like the air you breathe, always there, but invisible. And what is the ego? Well, to put it simply, it is the sense of I, the thought that there is a separate, distinct self. But here's the problem, that self is not what you think it is an illusion, a mirage created by the mind, a mask worn by the consciousness that seems to make you believe you are an individual, separate from the rest of the world. Now, don't misunderstand me. There is certainly something to be said for individuality. You exist and you experience life. But the key to understanding the ego is realizing that it is not the true essence of who you are. It is a temporary construct, a bundle of memories, ideas, and desires that we mistake for our permanent identity. But when you look closer, you'll see that it is only a product of thought, a self-created concept that is always changing, always shifting. The ego is like a story you tell yourself. It says, I am this person with these qualities, with these desires, with these fears. And it doesn't stop there. The ego then defines itself in opposition to others, creating boundaries, walls between you and everything else. It is the mind's way of saying, I am here and the world is over there. And with this comes an endless struggle, because once you identify as separate, you feel the need to defend, to protect, to control. You build walls around this self, and live in constant fear of losing it, of having it taken away. But let me ask you this. When you peel back the layers of the ego, what is left? What is this self? that you cling to so desperately? If you examine it closely, you'll see that it is made of nothing more than thought. It is a collection of fleeting ideas, memories, and desires, none of which are permanent. You are not your thoughts. You are not your past. You are not even your body, which is constantly changing and regenerating. The ego is a story that has no solid foundation, a wave that rises up from the ocean and then disappears back into it. This illusion of separation, this false sense of I, is the root of all suffering. It is the cause of fear, anxiety, and loneliness. When you see yourself as separate from others, you feel disconnected. You feel isolated in your own little world. You look around and see a sea of people, each locked in their own version of the same illusion, and in that sea of people you feel alone. But this is the trick of the mind. It's the illusion that tells you there is something apart from you, that you are not part of the vast, interconnected web of life. And because of this, you spend your life chasing after things, after status, after possessions, after validation, hoping that they will somehow give you the sense of self that you crave, but they never do. They can't. They are just distractions, temporary fixes for a deeper need. The truth is, the ego is not a solid entity. It is a process, a movement of thought. It is the way the mind tries to organize the world into neat categories, labeling everything and everyone, including itself. But when you step back and observe, you begin to see that there is no solid self. There is only the flow of experience, thoughts, feelings, sensations, all arising and passing away in a constant stream. The ego, this sense of I, is like a wave in the ocean. It rises up for a moment, but it is never separate from the ocean itself. It is not the wave that defines the ocean, but the ocean that gives rise to the wave. When you realize this, something remarkable happens. You stop identifying with the ego. You stop seeing yourself as a separate entity, and instead, you begin to see that you are part of something much larger. You are part of the flow of life itself, not apart from it. You are the river, not a drop in it, and in that realization you find freedom, freedom from the endless cycle of desire and fear, freedom from the illusion of separation. You are not you anymore. You are simply the universe experiencing itself, and so the ego dissolves not through force, but through understanding. It disappears when you see it for what it truly is, a transient thought, a fleeting idea. And when the ego fades, what remains is not emptiness, but presence, a deep, unshakable connection to the whole of existence. You no longer need to defend yourself, for you realize that you are not separate. You are one with everything. You are, in essence, all that is. Life, in its essence, is not a struggle. It is not a battle between forces, a war for survival, or a series of obstacles to overcome. Life is a dance. It is a play, a movement, a flowing rhythm that we are all part of. But most of us, in our confusion, forget this. We get caught up in the mechanical, the practical, the logical. We believe that life is something we must control, something we must manipulate and conquer. But in truth, life is not to be controlled. It is to be danced. When you think of a dance, what do you imagine? Perhaps a rhythm, a melody, a graceful flow of movement. You are not trying to control the rhythm, but to move with it. There is a natural, effortless quality to a dance. Each step follows the next, flowing into one another, not through force, but through harmony. This is how life works. The great dance of life is a fluid exchange, a flow of energy between all things, and we are not separate from it. We are part of it. We are the dancers. The mistake we often make is that we forget we are dancers. We think we are spectators, watching life unfold from the sidelines. But when we see ourselves as separate, when we see ourselves as distinct from the flow of life, we forget the most important thing. We are not the observer, but the observed. We are not separate from life. We are life itself, moving through time and space. The dance is not something we are witnessing. It is something we are participating in. Every step, every moment is an expression of the whole. Now think about how a dancer moves. They do not force their movements. They feel the music, they let it guide them. There is no effort to control the rhythm, only to follow it. And yet every movement is an expression of their uniqueness. The dance is not the same for every dancer, because no two people are identical. Just as no two notes in a piece of music are exactly the same, each step in the dance is unique to the individual. But all of the steps, all of the dancers, are part of the same grand composition. And the beauty of it is that each dancer, in their own way, contributes to the harmony of the whole. Life is the same. Every person, every moment, every experience is unique, yet we are all moving together in the same flow, creating the grand rhythm of existence. There is no need to struggle against the dance. It is not something to be fought, but something to be embraced. When you let go of the need to control and simply allow yourself to move with the rhythm of life, you find a deep sense of peace. You stop trying to force things to happen, and instead, you allow them to unfold naturally. You stop being the controller of life and become its participant. Now, of course, there are times when the dance seems difficult, when the rhythm becomes out of sync. Life is not always smooth, and sometimes we stumble. But even in the moments of difficulty, there is still the dance. The very fact that we are struggling is part of the dance. Just as a dancer might trip or miss a step, but quickly regains their balance, so too do we find our way again. The key is not to resist the moment, but to flow with it, to learn from it, to embrace it. It is all part of the grand movement, the endless dance of life, and this is where the beauty of life lies. It is not in the destination, but in the journey. The dance is not about reaching a certain point. It is about moving with the flow, about being present in every step, every breath. It is in the joy of the movement, not the outcome. When you realize this, when you truly understand that life is a dance, you stop worrying about where you are going. You stop stressing about the future and the past, and you simply begin to enjoy the rhythm of the moment. So, I ask you to think about this. What if, instead of trying to control the dance of life, you simply let go and moved with it? What if you allowed the rhythm of the universe to guide you, trusting that each step, each turn, each moment is exactly as it should be? What if you embraced the idea that life is not something you are supposed to figure out, but something you are meant to experience, to live, to dance? When you see life as a dance, everything changes. You no longer feel burdened by the weight of the world. You are free, light, moving effortlessly with the flow, and in that freedom you realize that the dance itself is the meaning. It is the joy, the beauty, the love that you've been seeking all along. So dance, dance with life. Move with the rhythm of existence and know that you are not separate from it. You are the dance and it is you. There is a wonderful paradox in life that many of us overlook. The more you try to grasp the present moment, the more it slips through your fingers. You cannot force yourself to be present. It is not a goal to be achieved or a task to be completed. In fact, the more you think about being present, the less present you become. This is the paradox. The moment you stop trying to get it, that is when you actually experience it. Being present is not about willpower. It's not about achieving some state of enlightenment or reaching a higher level of awareness. It's about letting go, releasing the need to control, and simply being right here, right now. We spend so much of our lives either dwelling on the past or worrying about the future that we forget to fully engage with the present. We have these wonderful minds that constantly think, analyze, and plan. But in doing so, we miss the richness of the now. Think about it. Right now, in this moment, There is an entire universe unfolding around you. It is here now, but you miss it because you are caught in thought, in memory, in anticipation. The moment you stop and pay attention, you realize that everything you need is already here. The breath you are taking, the sounds you are hearing, the sensations in your body, these are the things that are real. Not the thoughts racing through your head about what happened yesterday or what might happen tomorrow. Being present is a matter of returning to your senses. We've all heard the phrase, "be here now." But what does that really mean? It means to return to the experience of life as it is happening. It is to drop the mental chatter that clouds our perception and to feel the world without the filter of judgment. The world, as it truly is always here. It's never anywhere else. And the more you practice being present, the more you begin to realize that everything you've ever sought is already available in the present moment. But here's the thing, being present isn't always easy. It requires a willingness to let go of the need for control. It requires trust. Trust that, in letting go of the past and future, you will not lose yourself, but rather discover a deeper, more profound connection to life itself. We are taught to chase after things, goals, outcomes, achievements, and in doing so we forget that the beauty of life is not in the destination, but in the journey. When we are present, we see the richness of each moment, not as a means to an end, but as an end in itself. You see, when you are truly present, you are no longer focused on the past or future. You are not anxiously anticipating what is to come or regretting what has already passed. You are simply living. This moment, right now, is all that exists. There is no past or future. These are just concepts, constructs of the mind. The present moment is the only reality, and when you allow yourself to fully experience it, something magical happens. You begin to see that you are not separate from the world around you. You are part of it, your thoughts, your body, your breath. These are all inextricably connected to everything else. It's like the sky and the clouds. The clouds come and go, but the sky remains. You are like the sky. The thoughts, the emotions, the distractions, they come and go, but you, the observer, are always here. You are the awareness that watches these things rise and fall. And when you realize this, the weight of the world begins to lift. The pressure to do, to achieve, to become, fades away. You are enough just as you are in this moment. When you stop seeking, when you stop grasping for something else, you discover that the present moment is all you need. It is complete, whole, and rich with life. There is no need to chase after something more, no need to worry about what comes next. You are already in the midst of it, and in that realization there is peace. So, let go of the need to be anywhere else. Let go of the need to be anyone else. You are already here, already whole, already part of this great unfolding. And when you can truly be present with what is, you will find that life becomes more vibrant, more vivid, and more real than you ever imagined. And in that presence you will find your true self, not as a separate individual, but as the universe alive in this moment. You are not a fragment of life, you are life itself. So come back to the present, rest in it, feel it, be it, and you will discover that you are not missing anything. You have always been here in this moment, and always will be. There is a paradox that we must face in life. The more we try to hold on to things, the more they slip away. The more we grasp for control, the more elusive it becomes. We live in a world that tells us to strive, to possess, to cling to what we have, believing that security lies in accumulation. But the true freedom, the real liberation, comes not from holding on, but from letting go. Letting go, you see, is not about abandoning everything or becoming indifferent to life. It is about recognizing that there is a natural flow to existence, a rhythm that cannot be forced, a current that cannot be stopped. We resist this flow out of fear, out of attachment, out of a deep-seated belief that if we don't control our lives, they will spiral out of control. But this resistance is what creates suffering. When you stop fighting the flow, when you stop clinging to the past or to expectations about the future, you discover the freedom that comes with surrender. Now, I'm not talking about surrendering in a passive sense. It's not about resigning yourself to life's difficulties or accepting suffering as inevitable. It's about letting go of the need to control everything, of the idea that you have to have everything figured out. It's about recognizing that life is constantly in flux, and that you are part of that flow. Just like a river, if you try to hold onto a single drop of water, it will escape your grasp. But if you release it, if you allow the water to flow naturally, it becomes part of the greater whole. You stop fighting the current, and you start moving with it. Letting go is not easy, of course. It's a process of unlearning. We are taught from a very young age to hold on tight, to make sure we don't lose what we have, to protect what we believe defines us. We hold on to ideas, possessions, identities, and even relationships out of a deep-rooted fear of losing ourselves. But in truth, what we are holding on to is not ourselves at all. It's an illusion. We identify with these things, but they are not who we are. They are temporary. They come and go, and so, the more we cling to them, the more we create a sense of separation, a false sense of control that only leaves us feeling unfulfilled. The freedom of letting go comes when we realize that we are not the sum of our possessions, our achievements, or our relationships. We are not the labels we wear or the roles we play. When you let go of these attachments, you find something deeper, something more fundamental, your true nature. It is like peeling away the layers of an onion to reveal the core, the essence that has always been there, untouched and unchanging. But letting go does not mean you cease to care. It doesn't mean you become indifferent to the world around you. Quite the opposite. When you let go of attachment, you are able to experience life more fully. You can love more deeply because you are no longer holding on to expectations. You can give more freely because you are not concerned with what you will receive in return. When you release the need for control, you open yourself up to the richness of life. You allow yourself to be moved by the beauty of the present moment, without trying to shape it into something it is not. This freedom of letting go also frees you from the burden of fear. Fear often arises when we hold on too tightly, fear of loss, fear of change, fear of the unknown. But when you stop grasping, when you let go of the need to control the future, you begin to see that the unknown is not something to fear, but something to embrace. The future is simply an extension of the present. When you live in the flow, when you let go of the need to know what comes next, you find peace in uncertainty. You realize that everything is temporary, everything is fleeting, and that's what makes it beautiful. The impermanence of life is what gives it its richness. In letting go, you also release the burden of expectation. So much of our suffering arises from the gap between what we expect and what actually is. We plan, we desire, and then we are disappointed when things don't go according to our plan. But when you let go of expectations, you open yourself to the natural unfolding of life. You begin to see that every experience, whether it aligns with your desires or not, is an opportunity for growth, for learning, for discovery. So, let go of the need to control. Let go of the need to hold on to things, to people, to outcomes. You are not losing yourself in this process. You are discovering your true self. The more you let go, the more you find freedom. It is a freedom that comes from deep acceptance of the flow of life, acceptance of the impermanence of all things, and acceptance of who you truly are. And in that freedom you will find peace, peace that comes not from control, but from surrender, peace that comes from knowing you are part of something greater, something that does not need to be grasped or held on to, but simply lived. Let go, and you will discover the freedom that lies in allowing life to unfold as it will. Life is often treated as if it's a serious affair, something to be endured, something that needs to be conquered. We treat it as a problem to solve, a task to complete, a race to win. But the truth is far simpler, far more profound. Life, at its core, is not a battle. It is not a task or a problem. It is play. It is a grand, cosmic game, and we are all participants, not competitors, in this unfolding drama. Think about play. What is play? It is light-hearted, spontaneous, full of joy. It is not concerned with outcomes, not driven by necessity, but by sheer enjoyment. When children play, they do not think of it as work. They do not wonder whether they are succeeding or failing. They are not worried about the end result. The game is the thing. They are fully immersed in the present moment, each moment an expression of life's natural flow. And in that flow they find a sense of freedom, of liberation. Now, why should it be any different for us, the so-called adults? Why do we treat life as something so serious? Why do we burden ourselves with the weight of expectation and the pressure of achievement? Life is not a series of tasks to be ticked off a list. It is a game, a play in which we are the actors. And just like any good play, it unfolds without a predetermined script. The beauty lies in the improvisation, in the freedom to explore, to discover, and to experience life as it comes. Of course, we live in a world that often tells us that life is not about play, that it is about responsibility, about duty, about getting things done. We are conditioned to believe that play is something we do in our spare time, something to be enjoyed only after the serious work is done. But this is a misconception. Play is not something separate from life. It is life. It is the very nature of existence. Everything in the universe, from the tiniest atom to the vast expanse of the cosmos, is in constant motion, constantly unfolding, playing out its part in the great dance of life. And we, too, are part of that play. In this sense, we are not the actors who control the play, but the characters who live it. We cannot control the plot, and that is the beauty of it. Life is not a fixed, predictable story. It is a dynamic, evolving process, full of surprises and twists and turns. And just like any good play, it is meant to be enjoyed, not endured. We are not meant to struggle through life, but to participate in it, to engage with it fully, to immerse ourselves in the moment. When we let go of the need to control, when we release the idea that life must be something other than what it is, we find that it becomes a play we can truly enjoy. The pressure to perform, to achieve, to get it right, disappears. We begin to see that life is not something to be gotten through, but something to be lived. Each moment is an opportunity to express ourselves, to engage with the world in a playful, spontaneous way. And when we do this, we discover the richness and depth of life. But here's the key. In order to fully experience life as play, we must be willing to embrace uncertainty. Just like in any game, we do not know the outcome. We cannot predict what will happen next. The thrill of play is in its unpredictability, in its freedom, and yet this uncertainty is what gives life its beauty. If we knew the outcome of the game, if we could see the end before the beginning, there would be no joy in it. The magic of life lies in the mystery, in the not knowing, in the unfolding of the plot as it happens. When you begin to see life as play, you stop worrying about the future, about what comes next. You become less concerned with the destination and more with the journey. Every moment is a new chapter, a new scene, a new opportunity to explore and express yourself, and in that exploration you discover that there is no right or wrong way to play. There is no winning or losing. There is only the experience. So I invite you to approach life as a play. Let go of the need to control, the need to be perfect, the need to get it right. Embrace the uncertainty, the spontaneity, the joy of not knowing what comes next. Life is not something to be taken seriously. It is something to be danced with, laughed with, played with. You are not here to perform a role, to follow a script, to check off boxes on some cosmic to-do list. You are here to be part of the game, to contribute your unique expression to the unfolding drama of existence. And in doing so, you will find that life is not a struggle to survive, but a play to be lived, a beautiful, spontaneous, and ever-evolving adventure. So play with life, play with the world, play with the mystery, and in that play you will find your freedom. There is a fundamental truth, a reality that is often hidden from our eyes, yet it is the most vital aspect of our existence. It is the unseen unity that underlies all things, the silent thread that binds the cosmos together. We live in a world where we are constantly reminded of our separateness, our individual bodies, our personal identities, our boundaries. We are taught to see ourselves as isolated entities, distinct from the world around us, as if we are separate from the universe instead of part of it. And yet, if we look deeply, we realize that this separation is an illusion, a concept created by the mind to make sense of the world. In truth, all things are interconnected, and the unity of existence is as undeniable as it is invisible. We go about our lives as if we are distinct, isolated beings, living within our own little bubbles, unaware of the interconnectedness that sustains us. We view the world as a collection of individual parts, people, objects, events, but we forget to see the whole. The trees are separate from the sky, the oceans are separate from the land, and we are separate from each other. But if we look closely enough, we realize that all these things are not as separate as they appear. They are simply different expressions of the same underlying reality, the same creative force that animates all things. The air you breathe, the earth beneath your feet, the sun in the sky, all of these are part of you, just as you are part of them. The boundaries we create in our minds, the distinctions we make between self and other, are arbitrary. They are useful, perhaps, for practical purposes, but they are not the whole truth. Consider this: every breath you take is a part of the world around you. The oxygen in the air is not just a separate substance. It is part of the cycle of life. It flows through plants, through animals, through you in a continuous exchange, a shared process that has been unfolding for eons. The trees give us oxygen, we exhale carbon dioxide, and the cycle continues. In this exchange there is no true separation. The tree is not over there, and you are over here. You are part of the same life, sharing in the same cosmic dance. This unseen unity extends to all levels of existence. We may look at the stars in the sky and marvel at their beauty, but they are not distant objects separate from us. The very atoms that make up your body were once part of a star, forged in the heart of a sun millions of years ago. The matter that forms your cells is the same matter that formed the earth, the oceans, the mountains. It is all the same energy, the same substance, in different forms. The apparent separation between you and the cosmos is not real. It is a projection of the mind, a way of organizing the world into manageable categories. But when you let go of that illusion, when you stop seeing yourself as a separate individual, you begin to sense the deeper unity that pervades all things. When we realize this unseen unity, we are no longer confined by the limitations of the ego, the sense of I and other. We begin to see the interconnectedness of all life, the deep bonds that exist between us, between the plants, the animals, the stars, and the very earth beneath our feet. This awareness is not just a philosophical idea. It is an experience, a profound shift in perception. It is the recognition that we are not separate from the world, but that we are the world. The life force that animates you is the same life force that animates every living thing, every molecule, every atom. You are not a separate fragment of existence, but an expression of the whole. This realization of unity is not about merging with the universe or losing yourself in some abstract oneness. It is about recognizing that you are both unique and interconnected. You are both an individual and part of the greater whole. The dance of life is not a series of isolated movements, but a fluid, ongoing flow of energy, with each part contributing to the whole. And just as the hand cannot be separate from the body, you cannot be separate from the world. The unseen unity that underlies existence is not just a metaphysical concept. It is a living reality. It is the web of life that supports us, that nourishes us, that allows us to exist in the first place. And when we tune into this unity, when we stop perceiving the world as separate and fragmented, we begin to experience a profound peace. We see that there is nothing to fear because there is no other to fear. There is no real separation, no them and us. There is only the flow of life, unfolding in its own way at its own pace, and we are all part of it. In this realization we find freedom. Freedom from the constraints of the ego, freedom from the illusion of separation, and freedom to live fully as part of the whole. You are not a solitary individual standing apart from the universe. You are the universe experiencing itself, expressing itself in this moment, right now. And when you see this, you see that there is nothing missing, nothing lacking. The unity of life is already present, already here, in every breath, in every heartbeat, in every thought. You are one with the cosmos, and that in itself is the greatest freedom of all.